And
I'm just floored by all this too, because these great stories film lovers are going to love. But then you pull back the curtain more, and they're doing so much stuff for good.
Oh yeah. Well, and the way you get these projects to go together is so crazy. There's no one path.
Yeah.
Like we got scared because I knew Harry's agent's wife went to his wedding. I'd heard that story years before, and I was like, I think I can get to Tom Skerritt. And we just ended up calling him, and he said, yeah, got him for scale.
I hope everybody's taking notes right now. All you burgeoning filmmakers, as I've said, this is how it's done.
Yeah. You just figure out who pulls the strings, and the other thing you should know too when you're making these movies is there's a guy like me between the star and you. And you don't have to schmooze us, but you have to prove that the project's worthy of the guy to see, because you're the bullshit filter.
Yeah, exactly.
So if
you're the gatekeeper, man.
Yeah. So if you don't already have the cast and the money, they're not going to say anything. They're not going to do anything,
right?
Because they don't want to be manipulated to raise the money.
Yeah,
they could do that themselves.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, what do you have?
Right.
It's like, I can do this 10 times over. I don't need you. That's great advice.
You got to bring something to the table.
Yeah. Oh, man. So, all right. So then Magnolia picks it up. You do debut, and I think it was a limited run at first, which is how I saw it in the theater. What happened next? Like when you debut, are you checking box office receipts? Are you looking at next steps? And I'm talking because we brought it up on Movie Talk here. This was a movie that people saw here in the Collider Studios, and they loved. I mean, like. And I didn't even coach them. I mean, I don't think they knew that we knew each other. And they're like, "Have you seen this movie?" And a lot of people from the reviews are like, "Harry Dean should be nominated for an Oscar." And I know there was a lot of people hoping, and that came and went.
Yeah.
Like, what is that like?
Boy, and we didn't even get nominated for an Independent Spirit Award, which really blew me
sucked.
away.
Yeah.
Part of it, there are no excuses about these things, and I'll tell you, I was pretty disappointed.
I bet.
For Harry, because I felt like he was completely, some of the best work I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But the gist of it is, you have to put millions of dollars behind this stuff, as you know, to get, so like we would go up against movies who spent more on craft service than we did on our whole movie.
Yeah.
So if you can't get those votes and enough people to see them, you can't, get nominated for anything. The Independent Spirit Awards, I have no idea. And the same with the SAG Awards.
Yeah. That seems like just a way been overlooked.
Yeah.
Like somebody who was asleep at the wheel with this one. I don't know.
I'm cool with SAG now, but
Yeah.
I was really disappointed. And I'm a member of SAG, have been since 2003, but I was really disappointed that the members as a whole didn't recognize.
I would be too. And it's I get it.
But
again, every time we talk about the art and the wonderful stories within and the people you meet, at the end of the day, it's a business, even for awards consideration, which kind of sucks to think about.
It's I'm not mad about it because there's it's like Harry said, there's nothing you can do about it. It is written. It's not. It's what are you going to do about it?
It is written.
And if you think you're in charge, man, you're an egomaniac.
I love that. Is that a saying that he would do?
Yeah,
like
he
it
said,
is written.
Nobody is in charge. It is written.
God, I love this.
Yeah, he was like, I was going to say he's like Yoda, but years ago, I told him, he was like, "What's this whole Star Wars thing?" And I told him, I'm like, it's the hero's journey. This guy named Luke, and I gave him the gist of it. His father turned and bad guy, and I said, but the overall focus here is the Force, right? This Force, it binds us. It surrounds us. It binds us together.
Yeah,
and it's basically this. I've always felt like it's a metaphor for love. Bringing this joy rather than sorrow. That's what this metaphor is about for me. And so I would say, I said, Harry, so when I was leaving, I turned around and was like, "Hey, Harry, may the Force be with you." And he goes, "May the Force be with you." So we would do that for like a year. We did that. And then one day I told him about my metaphor. I'm like, I think it's really about love. And so I was leaving. I go, "Harry, may the Force be with you." And he goes, "Love."
Oh.
And so for the last 3 years, when we left, we just say love.
That breaks my heart to hear, because then You know, you were with him, right, when he passed.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
how hard was that for you, man?
Boy,
especially hearing these stories and the love, and then this story. I'm tearing up just talking about that. That story is beautiful because it is why I love Star Wars.
right. It's
know?
deeper than
Yeah.
Wookiees and droids. Those are fun parts about it, but
Yeah.
it's truly the nature of the hero. And I'll tell you something. Every human is on the hero's journey. That's why we relate. And we've been on the hero's journey for billions of years, ever since the very first cell split. That journey began, and that was the hero journey for that cell.
Yeah,
and
to create life.
And we've been doing it since. And that's why Star Wars, really impacts you.
Yeah, it's why it impacts me. Is why I don't, for the life of me, understand how somebody could yell at you for liking Star Wars and on the other side, sure, if you don't like Star Wars, but just remember the love at least.
Yeah, they're
just
missing
know
it. They're missing the big picture, man.
Isn't that sad that it's like you got to spend so much time putting in the hate